Hey, Mama. Welcome back to the Grace-Filled Mom Show. If your days feel full of noise, full of tasks, full of people needing you, and you're craving just a little bit of quiet, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about finding rest and margin when life feels full. The kind of rest that doesn't just recharge your body, but restores your soul. We're going to look at what the Bible says about Sabbath rest and simple ways to create space for peace in your home and how to be more intentional about the things physical, mental, and spiritual that you allow into your life. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Grace-Filled Mom Show.
Hey, Mama friend, and welcome to the Grace-Filled Mom Show, where we're all about real talk on motherhood, faith, and finding grace in the messy middle. I'm Hillary, your host, fellow mama, and Bible-believing bestie. Each week, we'll chat about renewing our minds, navigating the highs and lows of mom life, and staying rooted in truth, even when the dishes are piled high and the toddler is melting down. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. Rest is not just a nice idea, it's God's design. From the very beginning in Genesis, God Himself modeled rest for us. Genesis 2:2 says, "And on the seventh day, God ended His work which He had made, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He had made." God didn't need to rest, but He knew He would. The Sabbath is a gift for us, a weekly invitation to stop, to worship, to delight in Him, and to remember that our own worth isn't what we do, but in who we are in Him. When we honor God with intentional rest, we step into the peace He freely gives us, even when life around us still feels busy. It's a special time to let go of the cares of the world and focus on Him, the one who renews us, and it truly is a blessing. One of the most overlooked aspects of finding rest is also being intentional about what we let into our homes. Every item, every toy, every piece of decor, every activity we commit to, it either brings peace or it brings clutter and stress. So here are some ways we can become intentional about what we allow. We can choose items that honor God and create a calming environment. We can regularly declutter and donate what no longer serves our family or aligns with our values. We can pause before buying and ask ourselves, does this bring peace or does it add chaos? And we can protect our calendars too. Too many commitments can clutter our minds and rob us of our rest. And we can set a boundary here with our children too, because too many activities doesn't allow them to rest and to be creative and to renew their minds as well. So what are some practical ways we can not just rest, but create margin so we have more time to rest? Margin is something we often don't have a lot of in our fast-paced world. In an online document, margin is that white space around images and text on a page, and our lives need that white space too. So here are 4 key areas to help us bring biblical rest into our lives with practical steps. Number 1 is boundaries. We can set limits on work hours, especially if we're working from home. We can protect family nights or weekends as sacred no-work zones. We can create phone-free hours to be more present and less distracted. We can learn to say no without guilt to activities or obligations that drain our energy. Now, there are times that we need to volunteer and we need to help, but we have to be careful about what we say yes to and what we need to prioritize in different seasons of our lives. I did a whole episode on healthy boundaries, so check that out for more. Number 2 is intentional downtime. Schedule rest in your planner if you have to, like a non-negotiable appointment. Create a daily quiet pocket, even if it's just 10 minutes of stillness before bed, or I like to take that 10 minutes in the afternoons to kind of reset my mind and heart on the Lord and recharge before I go through the rest of my day. You can use that time for prayer, journaling, or simply sitting with your favorite beverage in silence. We can rotate simple activities that bring peace, like reading Psalms, walking in nature, or listening to worship music. Number 3 is family quiet time. We can start small, especially if we have little ones. Just 10 to 15 minutes where everyone does a calm, independent activity. We can provide quiet toys or books for little ones to make the practice peaceful. You could even keep a special box of some quiet toys or activities that you only bring out during this time. Use soft worship music or an audiobook Bible story to set the tone, and you can then gradually increase the time, creating a habit of calm in your home. Number 4 is meal simplification. Whoa, mamas. If you're cooking your meals almost all at home 3 times a day or more plus snacks, this one can be a big one. But we can choose to rotate 5 to 7 family favorites for stress-free meal planning. We can batch prep snacks and breakfast items to make our mornings more smooth. A slow cooker or Instapot on the busiest days is so helpful. And we can even keep a list of easy wins like breakfast for dinner, which is one of our family go-tos, or build your own taco nights for that last minute dinner stress. Most importantly, let's remember the why. There's a heart behind rest. Biblical rest isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing what restores your soul and draws you closer to Jesus. How often have I found myself so maxed out as a mom and on edge, only to find myself trying to recover by scrolling through social media? That's not rest, friends. We need to find activities that are simple, but that truly restore us. When we are intentional about creating peace in our homes, in our schedules, and in our hearts, we open the door for God to refresh us in ways that nothing else can. If you're craving that peace, but you don't know where to start, I want to invite you to the Grace-Filled Mom Collective. Inside, you'll find practical resources for simplifying your routines, managing your home with less stress, and creating daily rhythms that make space for true rest. And something I just started and I'm so excited about inside the membership is mini work with me sessions, where we'll pick a task like creating a master grocery list, and we'll do it together in a workshop so you can watch the recording, get the template, and get the task done while feeling less alone. That's my prayer with everything I do at Grace-Filled Mom. I want you to feel like you have a friend in this. You always have a friend in Jesus, and I pray that I draw you to Him. But I also want you to feel like you have a mama friend doing this, because we're doing these things together, mama. And my prayer for you this week is that you'll take one small, intentional step toward creating margin. Whether it's decluttering one corner of your home, saying no to an extra commitment, or carving out a moment to sit with the Lord. Because when you live from a place of rest, you can show up for your family from a place of abundance, not exhaustion. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend and check out the Grace-Filled Mom Collective in the show notes for tools to help you build a home and heart filled with peace. Until next time, rest in His grace, sweet friend. You've got this. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the Grace-Filled Mom Show. If this episode encouraged you, would you do me a favor? Subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a mama friend who could use a little grace today. And if you've been blessed by the show and want to help cover the cost of the content I create while blessing our family, you can find my Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. There you can subscribe to our monthly membership, the Grace-Filled Mom Collective, where you get exclusive content, you can view digital products, or even give a one-time tip of any amount. Your prayers are also very much appreciated. I'm praying for you, Mama, that you and your family have kingdom impact. Never forget, you're not failing, you're growing, and you're doing better than you think. I'll see you next time, friend.